If I look at this game, I say kind of like for like bot lane, like for like mid lane, like for like jungle. The only difference is top, where you have a sieging strong laner and you have a team fight initiator. So it's going to be very intriguing because when I look at drafts like this, I say, well, this has to be about the top lane because that's where the overlap. It's really about play style for SKT rather than necessarily what the draft does for me, and I'll talk about that in-game. For KT, kind of the issue is, what is a good KT draft right now? I got no answers. I would say easy to execute because they're losing, but I don't have a lot of real insights into what's working and what's not because it feels like most things aren't working. Whoa! That person just walked through our AR curtains.
Yeah, breaking the fourth wall. But here we are, onto the Rift for game number 1. Wallpark explodes as we have a starry night here in Runeterra. SKT setting up the 5-point defense system as Teddy and Prey will spot each other first.
Sometimes for championships, most recently near the bottom of the table, but always personal between SK Telecom T1 and KT Rolster. Given that, SK Telecom were not allowed to officially rename to T1.
Yeah, it was going to be this season.
Almost certainly going to be the last time we have SK Telecom T1 versus KT Rolster. Very unlikely that both teams will be playing in either promotions or the playoffs. So given that, it's a bit of a historic day here. Atlas in the 15-year anniversary of the first time SKT and KT met. If you guys are wondering how that works, given that it's the 10-year anniversary of League of Legends, it is a rivalry that extends to the StarCraft days in esports.
Oh yes, it does. This has been a historic matchup for a very long time, and it transcends just League of Legends. Of course, that's why we talk about Juné being such a historic team as well.
If people wonder where their fans come from, they have been a really long supporter of StarCraft 1, and especially StarCraft 2. They have been kind of the biggest org still sticking around in that title. Still around in League, and still better than the two teams that tried to displace them when it comes to the relegations. KT gave a leash. That means first access to the minion wave for Varus Braum, and unlike Varus Tahm Kench, this is a lane that's strung from level 1 on the Varus side here, so that does actually cede a lot of lane control, and you worry that it will fall back into kind of the negative archetype of Tahm Kench Ezreal rather than Deft just lolling on the faces of China with his aggressive play.
And also, I mean, Deft plays it a little bit differently. Tahm Kench Ezreal is his aggressive lane preference. We were, both of us, Papa and I, having a chat to Tucson after their victory at Rift Rivals, and yeah, Tucson just did what he was told in that particular series, and Deft destroyed Invictus Gaming.
Well, even though KT's on the screen, Deft is not a name to talk about anymore on that side. They've got the names, but the recent form has been a struggle. We got the runes, by the way, so Electrocute to try to amp up the early trades from BD.
Working.
It's weird because if you remember, Neon was interviewed and asked about the lane matchup between Azir and Corki, and he identified the lethal tempo as being the winner in the trades against Corki. Now, very early it's not that useful, but it means that from your first item completion, whether you go more attack speed or you go higher AP, you get stronger trades there. So they're looking for strong trades early with the Electrocute. That does mean the ability for Umti to invade. Naturally, he's not going to find anything because he did not have enough information about the early pathing. So no camps or Lee Sins to counter jungle.
Morbidity, quite low on mana, is going to be going through his Corrupting Potion as well. As you can see, Faker completely out of charges at this point, but he's going to be able to get himself back up to a decent health pool. Good dodge there of the Tongue Lash from Teddy. As SKT, we expected them to have some control here towards the bottom side, but can they actually leverage it into any sort of kill threat? It's going to be very difficult against the likes of a Tahm Kench and an Ezreal.
Anything other than Jace pushes, Sylas invades red side jungle versus Varus and Braum usually have lane control and Lee Sin plays bot side would be a surprise, would be actually a combination. And coming back to SK Telecom, what we saw most recently and what impressed us at both Rift Rivals, but especially in their series earlier this week against Hanwha Life, was reintegrating Clid after being their superstar at MSI. He had a very poor start and seemed very out of sync with the members of SKT. A lot more smooth, and a lot of moments in that series earlier this week that Valdez and I cast where SKT were making the 1-2-3 play that was very intelligent and internally consistent that has been absent from them in recent weeks, and that in-sync use of what can be a real weapon. Clid has been a star coming in as the most unheralded member of the SKT lineup, as that was very risky from Prey.
That looked like an aiming style Arcane Shift.
He's got a Tom Kench, so...
He does. I mean, aiming did as well.
Well, yeah, he also had a Fate's Call and a Dream, but...
He did.
Oh, boy. Let's not talk about that.
That was a nightmare. That's what that was. I actually, I woke up this morning and I was like, maybe I dreamed that a Freak of Freaks victory over Dinner, but I didn't.
Now, another thing to talk about is what usually happens in Jace versus Vlad, because we get this matchup all the time.
Yeah.
Vlad goes Doran's Ring. You wonder why. He doesn't have mana. Lol. Cassiopeia, no boots. Now, the reason why he goes that way is because you need 2 potions to stop Jace, who always controls the wave early, slow pushing it, bringing up his jungler and diving. Instead, Vladimir's going CS for CS. He went the Doran Shield that's basically not being considered by great Vladimir players like Nogari. And we've seen no attempt from Smeb to make those freezes in coordination with a very strong diving jungler in Umti on the Sylas. Instead, Khan's just getting CS for CS here, so it's on Umti to make things happen topside. Right now, he's just going for a counter jungle, and the profit from this is quite minimal.
Now, well, level 5 actually available here for Cleared as Umti's able to steal away the big Raptor. Effort makes his way into the mid lane, though, as Faker's taken a lot of damage. The Sam behind me is there for Effort onto a minion, but this battle between the junglers is still going on. Cleared a lot of energy, gets the flash out of Umti, even after landing the Q. That was that's a flash he could make.
And I'm gonna just completely kind of overrate the importance of that moment, but just talking about how there was a frozen minion wave top, we don't see Umti go towards it, and then they're defensively flashing around mid. It's a very negative mindset to be in, a very defensive mindset to be in, and they should be amping the pressure onto Khan and really dunking him with the ability to continually freeze up minions, slow push in, threaten the dive, and get at least Vladimir losing out on half the CS, maybe even taking him down. Instead, Vladimir's just farming, and we know where this lane goes. At some point, you just press all your buttons, and half the time you get a kill.
Well, Effort unable to actually stop a lot of that damage onto Teddy. You saw a really nice combo from Prey, utilizing that W that did land through the minions. But Teddy's still very comfortable at the moment with an 11 CS advantage. Shoving this wave in. Prey once again, Arcane shifting quite aggressively. It's Cleared just looking for a 7-minute Infernal Drake, and it looks like he's going to be able to get it, no question.
Only reason to Arcane shift like that is to show lane presence when you're the team on the Drake. In fact, it's not actually in relation to the jungler. Usually when Deft was being aggressive, it was to get map leads because it's showing a lot of priority around, wow, look how strong I am, I'm willing to do this. Instead, Prey's just trading. Meanwhile, his jungle was farming red, I believe, at the time.
Yeah.
So it's another extension of that disconnect. And it's not really clearly on screen, or we're not listening to comms and being like, he says go and this guy's not going. But if you read into what all these things mean at the highest level, is that KT, with another new roster lineup this week, just doesn't feel like they're more than the sum of their parts.
Yep. Feels like the woes are continuing. And it's a rough start for KT after Rift Rivals comes back, because they go against Kingzone, our first team in the finals at Rift Rivals that won their match, and then against SKT immediately afterwards, the team that came in second at Rift Rivals. They're basically being the LPL at this point, and we saw that the LPL didn't do so well in that particular final. Both of the teams that KT have gone up against did have great performances in those final games at Rift Rivals.
But when there's a better time to face SKT, because they're facing them twice.
Yeah, that's true.
They were the team to snap SKT out of their lose streak, and they're meeting them, before that win streak is built up to potentially, 5 or 6 as the season goes on. So, you got to take your matches and your wins when you can get them. They got a single game off of Kingzone, who were woeful a couple of days ago. They're going to be way better tomorrow. Probably the match of the week tomorrow, right? Obviously, we had a great series, surprisingly, between Griffin and Gen G, but we have Kingzone versus Damwon as the first series tomorrow, which could be really central to the top of the table. If Damwon win, they go first.
Yeah. And also, the really exciting thing is, also we've got LS back, and he wasn't feeling so well, so didn't cast Rift Rivals. And so, yeah, haven't seen him.
I'm actually Devo that I didn't get to cast with him. I
haven't heard Devo for years.
I like to throw in Aussies once in a while, but I was actually Devo, which is Aussie for devastated, because we would have got to cast together. We never at the Low Park at the same time, so would have been nice to cast with them at Rift Rivals. But sadly, illness claimed Nick DeCesare, as I like to say.
DeCesi? Well, I mean, you said Devo, so we can say Chezzy, can't we?
Oh, yeah?
Nick DeCesi? I wonder whether Lesnack will be okay with this saying that.
He seems healthy, which is a good sign.
I'm glad. Flash forward from Khan. There's the kickback. Q's going to be easy. Hemoplague does a hell of a lot of work, and free delivery of a first blood is looking about as elementary as it could ever. Watson.
The first time Clid sniffs around a lane, good things happen. They pick up a kill. Nicely done on the top side of the map, and decisive in a way that Smeb and Umti have not been earlier in this game. A CS lead for the Lee Sin. A nice kill there. Really nicely done from SKT. Definitely looking safe.
Yeah, really, really nice. Smeb doesn't have his teleport, so he's going to have to walk up. He's going to miss that entire minion wave. Turret plates aren't going to be the priority, but you can see Faker's already taken a turret plate in that mid lane. Unanswered elsewhere on this map, and things are going poorly very quickly here for KT. This is brilliant. Flashes on both sides just because they knew if they can get the Vladimir lead, everything's going well, and Clid can spread that lead elsewhere on the map.
If you look up clean Lee Sin in the dictionary, you see a picture of Clid. He is wonderful on that pick. KT trying to make something good happen. The timing here is on point. They're running straight at the Rift Herald. No TP available from Teddy. Yep. Good map call here from KT Rolster.
And remember, this is a team that has been prioritizing Rift Herald above most others so far this season. Problem is that they're sacrificing a whole lot. 3 members down towards the bottom side. SKT are going to treat this turret like IKEA and take so many of these plates. KT will be able to do the same thing, but they're losing this battle despite Shelly's addition to this push threat. They're going to be able to get rid of all of these plates, but Khan should be able to stop Shelly from getting too much done on the inner turret.
It's going to be, race 1 by Teddy. He sticks around alongside Clid. They're going to get it here.
Yeah.
The glee of the SKT faithful will go down. See if a secondary charge can happen. With its 600 health here, there's a chance Vladimir can snipe it out with a couple of autos, a Tides of Blood in the queue.
Yep, he's waiting in the brush just so that he can get behind it. With Smeb here, the charge does come in as he doesn't even go and try and stop that. But getting back to this turret, if SKT do get map control, is really hard. I mean, this inner turret with the outer turret in mid, still very healthy, is probably not going to be under a lot of threat unless KT can get a lot of control and power in these solo lanes.
It's a really good analytical point. Often getting 2 turrets topside while it's that immediate gold investment, you can have the wave frozen in really awkward spots that are hard to return to. So in the end, it doesn't go down, and I think to both teams that's a fine scenario. Again, the big worry is you went Executioner's Calling for lane. The laning phase ended right after you built it in some ways because we had the grouping, the Rift Heralds, the turrets taken. And now you have a Youmuu's and Executioner's Calling. The Vlad still has more than CS than you do, and will grow to be a bigger problem in teamfights. So SKT seem very happy with where Khan is at in the game, but maybe not with where the Drake control is for now. KT willing to walk up.
Yeah, KT actually 5 members here in this river at the moment, brute forcing control of this river. Oh, Blast Cone gets Faker in. That's a hell of a lot of damage onto Prey as the Q's going to land. Flash comes out from Prey and he just gets obliterated. The big one comes in from Faker and he's going to get his first kill of the game. All of the carries now able to pick up their taste of blood on the KT side, and this is looking much like our most recent Telecom war. A bit of a disaster, but Clid taking a lot of damage here. Safeguard gets him to relative safety and overcomes effort as well. Put on the door in a weird spot as Valkyrie gets Faker out of trouble. Low health bars, they're just buying time for this Drake to go down. Teddy a lot of damage there with the piercing arrow, and they've got full vision of what KT are trying to do. No worries.
Yeah, no worries, no smite, no problem. Looking for the pick onto BDD over the wall.
Yeah, tries to land those autos, but BDD shifts some sands, gets out of there. He's okay.
All you can see, and it'll be very clear in the replay, ladies and gentlemen, is how decisive SKT are compared to how much KT have meandered in this game. They're doing nothing in half measures. They're committing or they're not going. And that is an SKT on the same page, and one that is a pleasure to watch. Khan walks down. He's got the building block items. We know things are going to get scarier from here. And watch SKT. They're under no threat until they're going in. And boy, were they going in.
And that was an initiation by Varus and... the rockets coming in at exactly the same time.
He almost got the double kill with one arrow.
Yeah.
Very nice stuff coming through. That's a 3-star. That's a 3-star Varus right there.
That's a 3-star Varus, and of course Corki was just added to the game, I guess, as he's taken down Smeb. Also solo kill on the top side by the looks of things. Look, it hasn't been Smeb's season, and it's continuing to not be Smeb's season.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will probably get a replay of that, but I don't really want to watch it, Papa.
He is the man of tomorrow, but sadly today.
Oh, it's the delivery.
Yep. He just got leapt onto, and Faker has a level lead, and the execution's calling not so useful here. Oh, flash that. That was nice.
I did have to use the flash.
We missed some real action.
Yeah.
Previously on League of Legends.
Previously on League of Legends, the thing that you were expecting to happen happened, but it was a bit cooler than we expected. Both flashes now down, though, so Faker's not going to be able to make that play again, as that Q was a weird one. BDD still collects it.
BD, to his credit, CS lead about 10-15 in mid lane for the majority of the laning phase. He's got his items, but how much will he matter? 3,300 gold lead for SKT, but importantly, an Infernal Mountain on top of that.
Yeah, the scary thing is that they've got some of the best scaling options, as well as Emperor's Divide is going to catch Faker. No flash available, and he's just dead. Pigeon Man picks up the kill, and BDD strikes first for KT.
Scoop of Faker is exactly what they wanted there. Looked like that one was going to hit the ground, but just about got the right amount of scoop.
Yeah, is that available at Baskin & Robbins or something like that, possibly? New flavor?
Possibilities are endless here when it comes to promotion with Faker's face on it. Mid lane turret. Previously with Faker's face on it. He's dead, but mid lane turret goes down. Trying to chase for a kill, but no real chase potential for now from KT.
Yep, Umti comes up. He's going to be distracted by a control ward, but they are able to take down the entire outer ring. Nope, still top lane outer turret is available. See whether SKT are going to be able to split that one down, but you can see 10 CS advantage for Khan on this Vladimir that has a needlessly large rod. He has a hell of a lot of CDR already built up.
And what was our kind of preview of this game? Like, oh, like for like, like for like, like for like. Ah, not like for like in the top side. Therefore, top lane, whether Jace could get a big lead or not, that was going to be irrelevant to KT's win conditions. If not, holding all things equal, the item lead was going to be core if everyone does the same stuff. SKT have got the better duds, the nicer duds, the bigger items. So right now, KT have really few options apart from Jace is good at pushing. Let's help Jace push. It's kind of all they've got.
Fake it intelligently, not moving too close to that area.
Have you watched all of Jaws? I've
Jaws?
watched some of Jaws.
I think I have watched all of it, but it was a really long time ago.
Let's watch the scoop here. This was close.
Yeah.
Ah, the flash ult was what happened there. I missed the flash, but it makes more sense that you were able to catch the Valkyrie.
Also, knowing that Faker didn't have his flash, pretty understandable play to be made there. And BDD does have the execution to make that one work.
I think my Jaws experience is when it's on TV and there were ads for it, and then watching the start, you know, with the beach and the alarm. That's all I've got. That's all I watched of it.
Yeah, I think I remember like some weird scenes in the movie, and like this isn't that, but it's pretty disjointed. It's been a while. That movie's it's pretty old.
It is. And while we're old, we're not that old.
We're not that old. Thankfully, we're not quite that old.
But I mean, I remember being kind of the age of our Twitch chat, 14 to 16.
Yeah.
And anyone over 20 is like ancient, right? So you have to remember it's all relative.
Yep. Well, let's see. Gonna be right on top of this ward. Special delivery there as Faker pops over his ward and gets instant value for it. Sylas positioning going to be capitalized on here as SKT move into the enemy jungle. They start clearing out vision of their own. That's going to create some opportunities for Khan to keep pushing in as BDD getting chunked by Faker. Surprise Corky in the brush, but Snowflower and Umti are going to turn up. They're looking for the dive, and Faker just playing so well.
We saw Camp the Akali too much this week.
Yeah,
pretty much the same proposition. No flash onto Faker, but obviously pretty largely maneuverable. And the issue here for KT is your swapsies for kind of popping the balloon for Faker is that Vlad continues to get more good stuff next to Jace, and that can only be better.
How is Vlad farming underneath and in a turret?
Because all of his allies are topside.
Just nutty, man. That's a Hemoplague that goes down to guarantee a turret. Bit of health back there for Khan also, and that is just all of the pressure being available from that Vladimir. Things have gone way too wrong for the Jace. It's a big problem. The thing that I just realized is that Umti gets a full clip of rockets whenever you steal a Corky ultimate, which would be super sick for resetting your passive. It's a really cool ultimate to steal.
I didn't consider that.
Yeah.
The passive procs there. Now, the passive was pretty heavily nerfed, but
yeah.
I like that you are thinking that way. You're thinking laterally, Alex.
That's what I like to do.
You were always a linear thinker when I first met you, but you're getting more and more lateral.
Thanks, dude.
The gym's really working out.
Yeah, that's what I've been doing. I've been working on my laterality.
Your deltas.
Yeah.
It's a pretty large delta between SKT and KT coming into today.
I'd call it a rift, and it's not the rift that League of Legends normally has. It's the bad one.
But game's not over. Gold lead's not unmanageable. So there is still the huge outplay from BDD that potentially could salvage things. Seems like Teddy's not too worried about BD. He's gone for the Hurricane Varus, which is very much a I'm going to frontline and no one will threaten me choice of build.
Looks like Hex Drinker is going to be the next one. Package delivered just to clear out this control ward. Faker was running out of time on that one. He's building a whole bunch of things at the moment, looking for his Zeal item as well as the Infinity Edge as items number 2 and 3.
Silas is a shootless warrior, I just noticed.
Hey, yeah. I mean, he can dash a lot.
True.
So I guess he's got that going for him, but otherwise he's walking pretty slow. Epic going to take a fair bit of damage there from the True Shot barrage that he could have denied with the Unbreakable, but decides not to. As SKT just walk up to this inner turret and they're going to chunk it down. Remember, they've got a hell of a lot of turret damage if they can move their Corki up to it. Trinity Force, of course, known for just destroying structures, and Teddy will also have a fair bit of damage himself. SKT will also be able to eat through the Baron very quickly as, we look for it, but Clid doesn't go for the flash kick. It's just the regular one as the Devour comes in onto the Azir. All right, in goes Umti, immediately goes Golden, but it's a disconnection between KT. Umti's going to have to flash to get out of there. Bit of a yikes on the side of KT Rolster, but SKT come out unscathed.
Couple of awkward interactions for Clid. Went for the ward jump kick, insect style. That one was repelled, and then actually ended up flashing in place because of the instant Zonias from Umti.
Aha.
So that's why it ended up being both junglers flashing overall. Awkward passage of play, but next time flashes down, perhaps the ward jump will be true.
Yep. See whether it works out here for Clid. We know that he is very clean on this Lee Sin. Able to escape was certainly KT's good work. Khan, he's got his Spellbinder, man. This is a really scary Vladimir.
This is the flanks for the memories build here, where he's a fast man, even with no Unsealed Spellbook Ghost, and he's lying in wait, not spotted on any vision.
Just pressing his E as often as possible. Having a good time. True Shot Barrage collected by Clid as he jumps over that wall with the Blast Cone.
Doesn't have the pre-stack mechanic it used to, right? Where Tides of Blood, you would want to pre-stack twice before a team fight started.
Yep.
How many years ago was that? I want to say two. I want to say like 2.5.
Yep. That was when you used it wasn't actually working the way that it does now. It just threw out globules of blood just randomly. I remember when I was playing Vladimir of old, I used to just have to remember to press E all the time. As Hemoplague goes down the bottom side, Clid is going to turn up. Hemoplague pops, prays down here, the kick into the wall just to get that mini stun. See you later, mate. That is a very dead Jace. All too easy, and SKT will be able to pick up another minion wave and move towards this inhibitor turret, or just move up towards the Baron and take that one down. Umti already in position on this Silas, but with Jace dead for another 30 seconds, this could be the inroad that SKT were looking for.
It's the greed is good SKT, where they take something the mid lane out of turret when KT were out of position, but there's always more to get, and it's Smeb being overextended with no inner turret in bot. They return to the scene of the crime where the Vladimir took that turret for free, and it's the map play here where they notice that Silas and Azir are out of position, and they're not content with just mid lane inner and back away. They know that they can kill Smeb as well. The problem solves his way through. Khan looks kind of awkward, but
he just pressed Tides of Blood like 15 times, missed every single one of them until the last one. Didn't matter.
What's wrong with moral support?
I know, it's just funny. It's on a very low cooldown, so you may as well just press that button.
I've already proven I can play by play cards, so you should watch yourself.
Ooh, yeah,
you do provide great moral support.
But I also started my career as an analyst, remember?
That's
so
true.
Don't worry, you're in trouble as well, Pubsmith. I'm coming for you.
We're both kind of actually being sent by Riot Korea to evaluate each other.
Yeah, exactly.
You're doing very well so far.
We're auditing. You're doing great as well, Pubsmith.
The KT audit came back real bad. Speaking of KT auditors, I think Auditor
Vladimir's
on the way.
Memories. Okay, dives into the back line as Umti's going to steal a Hemoplague. Khan's going to take a hell of a lot of damage. Has the pull, uses it, and Hemoplague's going to be denied. Powered Shock Blast, almost taking down Khan, but does go golden. And I thought he was going to get the sick flank, but instead he finds a Silas and almost gets killed.
Definitely not been able to show off his Vladimir so far, but hasn't been an issue.
And also the Drake went
24 minutes
to SKT, no worries.
They've got a and very nice amount of Drakes. No full house possibilities because Cloud Drake will stop the stacking war of double Infernal and double Mountain. But now KT's like, crap, we really need wards in the river. Otherwise, Baron dies real fast.
Well, Baron already died real fast. I don't even think the Drakes were necessary with both Varus and the Corki.
I just noticed that Varus is a little bit off the chain in terms of CS.
Yikes. What?
It's like he's been finding extra CS to kill
Yeah.
things.
Okay, now I understand why B2D has a slight advantage. It's because Teddy's been eating all of his creeps. He's 5 minutes ahead.
Wow.
He's hit 300 before 25 minutes. What the heck is that?
10 per minute's an outdated number, it feels like, in 2019 with all the ways the jungle camps work and things like that.
That's a very good point.
But, yeah. Big boys here. It's harder to get high creep numbers early these days compared to before in some ways, so what to say? A lot of creeps, and that means a lot of items. And he even has a Maw, and the Maw is against Azir and Sylas, not against Vladimir, which is kind of amusing.
Yep, it's a very strange thing. But he's going to have that lifeline passive available, so if he does go down low, the lethal tempo, Varus is going to benefit a lot from that lifeline, especially the more variety of it, with a lot of magic damage coming in from B2D and Unti, as well as a bit from Prey as well. Of course, he does do mixed damage on the Ezreal. Definitely a great pickup. SKT really want to take this Baron. They haven't pulled any triggers just yet, as Effort's going to move towards KT.
Vladimir's walking up, doesn't have teleport, so can't answer Smeb in the side lane easily. So SKT will be smart to play a Baron game and try to draw Smeb towards a team fight that Vladimir is always set up to win.
Well, SKT, they're going to start it. Watch this health bar go down. Oh, that's a high-value True Shot Barrage, but it is helping do damage to this Baron. Down to 5,000 health, SKT decide that they want nothing to do with it. They are going to move themselves away as the teleport is coming into the inhibitor turret.
Actually onto the minions, already pushed through mid lane.
And Faker says, well, I'll just kill this. That's all too easy. The pings are there from SKT onto the Baron.
Meanwhile,
as they move back, Smeb was bottom side, and Faker says, well, I mean, I'll just stay here and take it.
Snowfowl's teleport completed on a ward, so they're onto the Baron.
Yep. And he's spotted as well. Oh, great heads up. Blue trinket there.
Effort blocks the use of the Braum ultimate. That's going to get Baron.
Yep, SKT, absolutely beautiful play here. Faker comes in, he's unable to get the inhibitor, but they get themselves the Baron for it. Chains of Corruption are going to go wide, and Smeb is zombie pushing on the bottom side. This minion wave will actually be picked up. There's a cannon creep there, and Umti's probably going to get there in time. SKT looking to clear things, but honestly, that was just a great passage of play from SKT. KT just didn't have any responses.
It's out macroed and then some, and that one, they absolutely played KT like a fiddle, and the tune that came out was something you've never heard. Beautiful sounds from SKT, because bloodlessly, they just take everything.
Yep. That is the SKT of old. That is what this team was feared for in international tournaments many years in a row. Hasn't been the same case. This was the team that did fall to G2. Semi-final of MSI. They are still looking great. They looked great in that tournament. They looked terrible at the beginning of summer, but this is them looking for the 13-match streak to get themselves towards the top of the table. And with Griffin dropping games, with the top of the table pretty contentious, it's an opportunity for SKT to get things done as Frey picks the right direction there to throw out the True Shot Barrage.
SKT are building. And these two games this week have been a very impressive performance off the back of a strong Rip Rouse.
That's this guy. The flash kick comes in. Smeb's destroyed. Tower's taken down next. SKT should be able to march up. They've got the minions. They've got the Baron buff. And Faker is just wasting the time of the KT mid laner while the rest of his team destroys the base of KT.
Competition seems to be non-existent between KT and SKT. KT haven't been able to get anything going in this game, and there's the Chains of Corruption, goes wide.
Yep, Snowflower's going to go golden as the ultimate is flashed there by the Tahm Kench. Teddy gets exhausted as an afterthought as the Hemoplague flies underneath his turret. The Nexus turrets are going to go down very low as Hemoplague not enough to kill Snowflower. He'll make it back to the fountain, but the low health bars are a huge problem here. One more turret remains. 3 siege minions onto these Nexus turrets. It's 29 minutes into the game, and the Nexus is exposed. 2 inhibitors have gone down, and SKT are going to break away, not wanting to bite off more than they can chew, and able to offer a lot of damage back.
Jace.
As, yes, Smeb was looking for the flank, but that's not a flank that you want, my friend.
He's straight out. He understands SKT have turned. They won't catch him. Can just Yo move straight through.
Spellbinder, is it available here? Nope. No, okay. So Smeb will make it back to the safety of the inhibitor turret.
And why trifle with them? You know, you've already dunked them in every possible way this game. There's no reason to take a super risky attempt to end with BDD under no threat with flash up on the Azir. Seems very likely he'll end the game 1-0 Atlas.
Yeah.
It's a bigger problem than it first appears to KT. Because KT, you know, there's a lot of kind of score lines here which are decent, right? 0-0-1 from the Sylas, 1-0-0, until you go back and, again, inspect the video, where KT just were never able to coordinate two different roles, like top and jungle, mid and jungle, mid and bot. No synergy between any of those compared to what SKT have done, where they've played their opponents so well. And it means that the problems are more than just player names and small kind of micro mistakes like we've seen. SKT rolls up, and it feels like KT have to buy a ticket to watch SK Telecom play.
Well, he's going to steal away the Chains of Corruption, and that is a hell of a lot of damage out from Faker. Khan decides it's his turn. A couple of members hit by that Hemoplague, but SKT just move over as a unit of 4. That's the Emperor's Divide. Gets a couple as BDD is golden on the backside. Teddy is jumped on, but who's jumping on who? The Varus just turns around and melts everyone. KT will get aced, and SKT obliterate them in game 1 of the Telecom War.
Easy victory for SKT. Nothing to celebrate about. You just beat a team that is inferior to you. Nice performance, and then they continue to build. A long amount of time for SKT, and they have games like this where they just look at their own play, we're like, yeah, that was pretty good, and that's kind of the maximum level of analysis we're going to have about SKT for quite a while.
Yeah, it's really interesting. The Jinnet game next week, the fact that we only see them once next week, of course, we are going to be moving to 4 days a week for the second round robin, guys, so some of the teams not going to be playing the maximum amount of games, and SKT, it's going to be their turn to take a day out, so I don't know. I feel like today, SKT look like the team that we sent to MSI. They look like the team that came out of that group stage looking like one of the best teams in the world. And it doesn't look like the SKT that we saw at the beginning of this season that was pretty rough. Summer has not been a good time for SKT, but these last few games have been pretty nice.
See plan, execute plan. We're seeing both sides from SKT. If they keep that up, they already know they have great players, right?
Yep.
So if they keep building like that, they will be a relevant team in LCK Sunday.
Well, we'll see whether KT can find some relevance also. If game number 2, I want to see some signs of life, right? Sometimes you need to temper your expectations. For a squad that is floundering, I want to see them have an idea and at least choose the right times to execute on their plans, because this was get a good match up top and then get beaten by the Vladimir. It's not what you want. After the break, we'll have game number 2. We'll see if it works.